Spider-Man can of course deal some nice punches and even a headbutt, but you will be using your gadgets a lot as well in the game. So let's take a look at everything we know so far about these handy devices that you can use during the combat. So if you enjoyed that, then a like would be super appreciated. And let's go. You start the game out with the regular web shooters that you can use with R1, and then you quickly shoot onto a target. By the way, the R1 button is the button you use for all the gadgets. You see like the amount of charges on the top right of the screen, and that automatically refills over time. And while these web shooters are great to use against the regular enemies, they are especially smart to use against the brawler enemies to be able to get an opening so you are able to hit them. You can also upgrade every gadget with the tokens you collect in the open world. Mentioned all of this in a previous video, so expect the base tokens, the crime tokens, the challenge tokens, etc, etc. With one of the upgrades for the web shooters, you can refill them faster, so you can use them more often. Another upgrade you can do immediately will add 2 more shots to the max capacity, so you have 8 instead of 6. On level 4 you can unlock another one of those, so you can increase the capacity to 10. Of course, if you have both upgrades. And then on level 15 for 2 backpack tokens and 1 landmark token, you can have the enemies stay webbed for longer. And this upgrade info is from Fandom Wikia that has a great write-up on the gadgets we know so far that I will link in the description down below. I got some more info from that because this video is like a combination of the info based on the play session we had during a recent press event, but also from other people that played longer than the 2 hours that we gotta play, like Easy Allies and Game Informer. After the web shooters, you can craft the Impact Web Gadget that instantly blasts the enemy against the wall, so way more powerful than the web shooters. Fandom Wikia notes that it was the same as 5 shots from the web shooters. But of course you can use the web shooters way more often than the Impact Web that recharges way longer. It can be nice to use in stealth as well, and I would imagine that if you upgrade the Impact Web the recharge rate might be shorter, but sadly all the upgrade info we have right now is for the web shooters. Next up we got the Spider Drone that you unlock at level 8 with 1 base token and 3 research tokens, or if you of course pre-order the game, you get it instantly, so you save those tokens and you don't have to wait till level 8. This is a drone, as the name of course suggests, but sadly there's no gameplay from this, just like from some other gadgets that you unlock later on in the game. But the description of course gives an idea of what we can expect. For example, this drone seeks out and fires an energy blast at nearby enemies, so it's like a nice flying companion to have during the combat. The electric web gadget is nice since it stuns one target, but then also goes to enemies that are nearby, so it's great against a group of enemies to stun them. So then you can for example throw the web bomb that I will touch on later, because that is the case, like you will be switching between those gadgets very often. It's not like you have one gadget with you at all times, but via the gadget wheel that you can show with a press of the L1 button, you can switch between the gadgets on the fly. And here you see that you got 8 spots for these gadgets, so there are way more to unlock, so let's move on. Next up we got the trip mine that, as the name suggests, is a trap that will activate when an enemy is close by and then instantly incapacitate the enemy. So great for example in a base where you fight a lot of enemies, so you have to worry about less of them. The web bomb is more for an aggressive approach where you throw the bomb and have all the enemies instantly webbed that are nearby. So what is interesting is that with some of these gadgets they require blueprints or items, so other things than the regular tokens or a required level. And this is the case for the trip mine, the web bomb, and also the electric web I already mentioned. So they will likely be unlocked via a story or a side mission for all we know. Next up is the Concussive Blast that unlocks at level 10 for 2 challenge tokens and some crime tokens. So this one knocks back the enemies with some sort of force push, but it will likely be of short range. It's still nice though to keep the enemies away from you. And the last known gadget, maybe it is the final gadget in the game, we don't know yet, is the Suspended Matrix that lifts enemies into the air and keeps them there for a few seconds. You need to be level 25 to get this gadget, for 2 base tokens and 4 challenge tokens. So we learned that the max level in Spider-Man is very likely level 50, looking at the latest level that is required to unlock the suit mods, that is level 50, while the latest level that is required for the suits is level 45. So if the Suspended Matrix is indeed the final gadget you can unlock, then you have access to probably all the gadgets at level 25, so that's fairly soon. But then of course you still have the upgrades to make all the gadgets even stronger, and those will likely require require you to be a higher level than 25 and of course you to have some tokens. So yeah, a ton to upgrade and unlock, and combine this with the suits you can unlock and have to like pay for with your tokens as well. And you really have to make choices like, what do I want? Do I want to get this gadget sooner or this awesome new suit? One thing is for sure though, these gadgets will totally make your life easier. And from what we've seen so far is that they are all based on the cooldown system, that you can use them, but then have to wait for them to recharge again. But I don't think that will be much of an issue when you get a ton of gadgets, because you can just use one, then switch to the other, and while you are using the other one will recharge like in the background. So then you can switch back and have a fully charged gadget again. So yeah, a really cool system, and these gadgets all sound pretty awesome. I can't wait to use them when the game hits on September 7th. We are getting close. In the meantime, I'll of course keep you up to date on everything you need to know about the game. Got some videos planned delving into more interesting features. So of course, totally subscribe to miss nothing regarding that if you haven't already. Drop a like to support the channel. Check out my recent Spider-Man video on a new trailer they're showing in the UK. And another awesome feature you might not know about. And I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.